The interrogation chamber on Station Helios 7 smelled of ozone and fear. Commander Reeves sat across from the XA-3 officer, her wrists bound by electromagnetic cuffs that hummed with barely contained energy. The alien towered over her even while seated, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh artificial lights. His compound eyes reflected her image 1,000 times over, each one showing the same defiant expression. "You will provide the access codes to the human defense grid," the officer clicked, his translator rendering the words in flat, emotionless standard. "Your resistance is mathematically futile." Reeves had been a soldier for 15 years, ever since the XA-3 collective had appeared through the wormhole near Jupiter and declared Earth's solar system part of their expansion zone. She'd watched colonies burn, seen entire fleets reduced to molecular debris, and held dying friends in the vacuum-sealed corridors of crippled warships. The scars on her augmented spine told stories of battles that official records had classified into oblivion. "I've heard your mathematics before," she replied, her voice steady despite 3 days without sleep. "They didn't account for human stubbornness." The officer's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or irritation. With XA-3, the distinction was academic. He rose from his seat with fluid grace, his 2-meter frame unfolding like some nightmare origami. From the corner of the room, he retrieved what appeared to be a conference table, though in XA-3 architecture, furniture served multiple purposes. The crystalline surface caught the light, refracting it into sharp geometric patterns. "Your species confuses stubbornness with stupidity," he said, hefting the table with ease. His people's gravity was 3 times Earth's, their strength was proportionate. "Perhaps a demonstration of consequence will recalibrate your decision matrix." He brought the table down on her head. The impact should have shattered her skull, should have turned her consciousness into darkness and her life into a statistic. But Reeves had stopped being entirely human 6 years ago, after the Battle of Titan's Reach. The biomechanical enhancements that had saved her life then now saved it again. Subcutaneous armor plating absorbed the kinetic energy. Synthetic neurons fired 10 times faster than organic ones. Time seemed to dilate, stretching the moment into something she could analyze and exploit. The electromagnetic cuffs had a design flaw, she'd noticed it within the first hour of captivity. They required constant power to maintain cohesion, and a sufficient electromagnetic pulse would disrupt their frequency lock. The impact of the crystalline table against her reinforced skull generated exactly such a pulse. Her hands were free before the officer realized his mistake. Reeves moved with mechanical precision. Her augmented reflexes made her a blur as she rolled beneath his follow-up strike, came up inside his guard, and drove her reinforced fist into the weak point where his thorax joined his neck. XA-3 exoskeletons were formidable, but they had vulnerabilities, pressure points where the chitinous plates met, where softer tissue allowed for movement. She felt the crack before she heard it, a vibration that traveled through her synthetic bones. The officer's compound eyes went dark sector by sector, like city lights during a cascading power failure. His massive body crashed to the floor with a sound like breaking glass. Reeves stood over him, breathing hard despite her enhanced cardiovascular system. The adrenaline was real, even if much of her body wasn't. She looked down at the crystalline table, its surface now webbed with fractures from the impact. Blood, hers, had left abstract patterns across the geometric facets. 3 months later, after the war had ended in the way wars between mismatched civilizations always ended, with compromise born of mutual exhaustion, Reeves mounted the table in her new office on Earth. She'd been promoted to Director of Interspecies Conflict Resolution, a position that required someone who understood both combat and diplomacy. Visitors always asked about the table. She told them it was a reminder that in any confrontation, the outcome depended less on size or strength than on recognizing the moment when mathematics broke down and will took over. She never mentioned the XA-3 officer, though sometimes at night, she still felt the crack of his neck reverberating through her augmented bones. The table remained there, a piece of alien craftsmanship turned trophy, catching the light in its fractured surface, a crystallized moment of violence that had somehow paved the way for peace.